Hi guys, today we'll be painting this piece. Originally it took me 55 minutes, but I've cut here and there to make the video a lot less long. Should you be interested in seeing the whole thing, please let me know, then I can always see if I can upload it. Well, for now, let's dive right in. I have burnt sienna, raw umber, some ultramarine blue, some leftover alizarin crimson, yellow ochre, and cadmium yellow, and of course white. Now let's just start by getting in some general shapes. I'm gonna take some the burnt sienna and some ultramarine blue and mix those together, then you get a bit, almost black color. And scumbling it on, just blocking out a bit of the background. No. Change to a flat brush now though, as you can tell. And just making some rough indications, playing around a bit. Because in the end we want some texture in there as well, right? I see also this like line going all the way to the back there. And like this we can already indicate a bit of the characteristics of the mice. Introducing a bit lighter color now. Not too worried about the colors mixing a bit on there, being vague. Not at all. So again, we want to keep it playful. I think that's the right word for it. And can always be very liberating to just go with the flow. Very quick interruption here, because if you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you want more of this content. Also, if you want any topics discussed or shown, please let me know through the comments below. I'd be happy to make a video on that for you as well. Let's continue. I do like to already have some context, so I'm going to make a very light grayish for the foreground. Just putting some shapes in there. Nowhere concerned. Do need to keep some space here for those hairs, actually. Are those hairs? Do we call that hairs? I think the term hairs doesn't sound that appealing. But for the lack of a better word, I'll just call them hairs. Actually, what I'm going to do with those hairs, I'm going to use a trick that Rembrandt used back in his day, long time ago, by just scratching them out. Very nice effect, I always think, to scratching the paint. I also do that when I'm signing my pieces. And here you see something wonderful. I think the old masters also used a technique like this. I don't know what it's called. If you know it, please let me know in the comments below. But you see, I'm just going over very lightly with quite opaque paint because I used white in there. But you see that warm glow underneath from the underpainting. I love that. And here we have this very dark shadow part, actually. So let's just gently put in some darks there. Again, this is a mixture of ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and later on I can always make it more dark. No, it's just indications. Creating soft edges while we're at it. You want to be dragged to the subject, not necessarily to the shadows. So I like to soften them out a bit. Again, putting in shapes. Putting in shapes, not being afraid of the paint. I think that's a very important part of painting. Just don't be afraid of it. And honestly, paint can make you quite nervous at sometimes because it costs money and you're afraid to screw things up. But please do not worry too much when painting. Just have fun and do your thing. Because if you fear your paints, you'll fear to paint in the end, and you might stick to things you are familiar with and comfortable. But the real growth is in just, not giving a darn. First of all, what others might think. Don't give anything about that. And secondly, just having fun at painting. And today I'm actually listening to some music on my earphone. It helps me focus because my family is downstairs, and my wife and children and mother-in-law. Sometimes when you cannot finish a piece in one time, that's also perfectly fine, and you don't need to finish everything at one go. You just take your time. Kind of reshaping here a bit the form. And I think the painterly touches, they give life to pieces. Palette knife. Have a look how that goes. Again, not looking at individual shapes, more at the general impression of, oh, what does corn look like? Some reflected light. I mean, this is still a shadow area, but it does get lit a bit. Is this too thin for scratching out some hairs? No, that will do. So, this is just a bead stick, and I'm just scratching out a ton of curly shapes here. We also have some areas where we can soften it up a bit, like here, the shadowy part. Trust me, that's the easiest way to set one piece. I love that. Should you like to paint this piece yourself, you can do so easily by joining me in the Food Paint Challenge. It's a weekly challenge I host in which I provide reference material to you, which you can use without any copyright issues at all. So I do hope perhaps you can also make a sell out of it. Happy painting!